In this video, I want to talk to you about collaboration fatigue. And I always say collaborate, collaborate, collaborate. But sometimes you can over-collaborate. And let me show you exactly what I mean. So we've got this great pull request here that's adding value to our project. And there's already been some great conversation on here from a variety of people, which is brilliant. It's great to get different perspectives. I love how everyone's given different perspectives. I've looked at the code. Actually, before I looked at the code, of course, I looked at the before and after photos. I looked at the code, I ran it, and I gave my feedback. And they addressed the feedback, but then after looking at it again, like a day or two later, after they addressed the feedback, I noticed some other things. Maybe there was like a missing import. I would have done things slightly differently, because if you look here, you can see in person in the object has kind of like an inline filter, whereas the ones they've added for future events, they've put it up here. And it's just inconsistent, and there's no right or wrong, both are good, but it's really nice to be consistent. So I'd like to move that down. But I really think that when a pull request has been open for, I think it's about 3 weeks, and there's conversations back and forth, by putting in a comment about these things that aren't so important but still are important, then it's going to drag on for another week, and then there could be conflicts, and it just creates a whole lot of pain for everybody, and they'll lose a bit of motivation, so they might not contribute again in the future. So what I recommend doing is, as long as it's good enough, is accepting the pull request, and you could accept it to a temporary branch and then make the changes yourself and raise a new pull request, or you could merge it into the main branch and then do it. I mean, today I want to do it in a temporary branch just so I can show that to you. So let me show you. So what I'll do, I'll keep this tab open. I'm going to open a new tab on the repository. I'm going to create a new branch from the main branch, because that's where theirs is going to. And you can call it anything you want. I might just say events past. It's going to be temporary, it's going to be short-lived. So I want to create that branch, and then what I'm going to do is I want to go back to their pull request and refresh the page. This is really important. Refresh the page. So therefore, when you hit edit at the top right, this drop-down now has your new branch that you have created. So we have it events past, and it's just giving me a warning. I'm happy to change that. So I've changed the branch. It tells me it's all there. I'm going to scroll to the bottom and then just check everything is still happy. And let's merge it, and then we can make those changes. You can see it's all still happy. There are no conflicts. Again, it was being merged into main, and the new branch that I created is from main. So it's exactly the same. So now I'm going to show you at the top. It will say going into EddieHub community events past, which is the branch name. So what we're going to do is we're going to squash it. I'm going to quickly tweak the commit message, and we're going to merge it. Now that's merged, you'll see it has closes issue, so this should also be closed as well. Is not yet. If I refresh it, maybe it will be in a second. Some of these microservices take a moment to update. But while that is happening, I'm going to check out the code locally. So I always switch back to the main branch, and I do a git pull to make sure I pull all the branches down. Just clear my terminal. And so I've pulled the changes, but only some changes in main have come down. That's fine, because what it's done is it's fetched a merge when you do a git pull. So now I want to switch to the branch that we created, because you can see it here, new branch events past, and we're going to say events past. Let's go to that branch. I've got these two files open. So I've got these two files open, event key and user events. Those are the two that were changed. And I can see this import is no longer used, so I want to remove that import and just hit save, and it's going to automatically reformat it. That will help other people when they hit save and they're using the same configuration that we're using in the project, that you can actually see their specific changes rather than these lines are reformatted and these are their changes. It makes it a lot harder to understand the changes and debug if there are any issues. So now for this other file, this is the one we're going to change. So all I want to do is where it says future events, I'm literally just going to copy and paste or cut and paste their code into there. And we'll let VS Code reformat this in a moment. If I do the same with that, that's ongoing events, so I paste that in. Pretty happy with that, so we can delete those two now. And then this is past events, so let's cut that and delete the variable. We don't need that anymore. And past events, we can just paste it on top of this variable. And now if I hit save, you can see the VS Code has reformatted that all. And it will still work the same. We haven't actually made any functional changes. I'd highly recommend running through this and running the application and just having a quick play, make sure it all works okay. I've done that already, so I know it's fine. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna commit to my branch, because I couldn't commit to the authors branch before. Ignore these 2 untracked files. That's something I'm working on at the moment, but they're untracked, so Git's gonna ignore those. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say git commit, and the message we're gonna say, I wanna say fix, and we're gonna say event filters refactor. Close that off, and I wanna specify the files. I don't really need to. I could put a dot here, but I always think it's safer, as you always hear me say. So let me hit commit, and then let me push those changes, and you can always verify there's 2 files changed, and that's correct. So if you ever get more, then you know that it's something's gone wrong, and do check before you do a push. Now we've pushed that up, we can go back to here, and we can, this one should be closed, so let's check. Why isn't this one closed? It was referenced, not sure why. We can go back a page and have a look. It definitely was this one, 4358, and it hasn't closed it. Okay, so we can close this manually, that's fine. We know it's been merged, and you can see this has been merged. Let's close. And then what we're gonna do is go to the pull request tab, and it's gonna suggest we create a new pull request, and we do that. And we could put closes in here, but we've closed it already, so it's fine. And I'm pretty much gonna merge this straight away because we didn't make most of the changes, so it doesn't really need to be reviewed. Ideally, in an ideal world, it should be. It's always good for every change, no matter how small, to get it reviewed by somebody. But I'm just gonna have a look at the files change, and these files changes now, well, remember, will include the author's changes as well as my changes. So you can see it's got both of our changes, and it looks good. We'll wait for the automated tests and other things to run. And once that's finished, we can then merge it in, and it will automatically get deployed out onto the link-free site. If you have any questions, leave them below. Your questions give me so many more ideas for future videos and content. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up while you're down there, and subscribe if you haven't already. And join us in the EddieHub Discord so we can geek out between videos and live streams. I'll see you in the next video.